I don't know how I'm gonna intro this.
Well, we can figure it out, but you better just please focus on driving. Jesus Christ.
Dying immediately. Where are we going?
I'm
McDonald's?
supposed to be the Asian, please.
McDonald's?
Can you drive like a white guy? Yeah.
Okay, so welcome everybody to the first episode of. Are we going with the long ass name you came up with?
I mean, I thought it was a thing on YouTube or.
I don't know. Two powerlifters in a car getting coffee. First episode, we got Kev. Kev's the one who came up with this idea. Kev, you guys have fucking all seen Kev at this point. He's there just about every video I film on a Saturday.
Yeah. Saturday afternoon is my usual haunt at reps. I think when did Saturday Crew start? Like a year ago?
Dude, probably.
Yeah. Like I've always worked Saturday mornings, right? So I always get off, mid-afternoon, 2-3 o'clock, meet the boys at the gym, so it kind of became a thing, so.
Especially once I stopped working out in the mornings, once I started the 9 to 5.
Yeah, that was...
That would have been a year ago. I started
right, because we used to be the Monday morning crew, then we shifted to the Saturday afternoon crew, yeah.
Yeah, because I started the 9 to 5, which didn't fucking work because John lifts early, you lift even earlier.
Well, all my days off I try to, yeah, but...
I also fully made a bet with Liv that I've now lost that you were going to do this in a crop top.
No, it's a little cold out now. It's September. September in Newfoundland's a little too chilly for the crop top.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my second outfit, which is just like hoodie.
And a PEI open shirt.
Just, hoodie. Jeans and a hoodie is my favorite outfit.
But yeah, so Kev pitched the idea of doing a series where, again, it's quite literally just two powerlifters getting coffee and just chatting, try and build up the powerlifting community, especially here in Newfoundland. We can always get more people. So yeah, we just finished a bunch of bench. I'll throw some of that in because I recorded some of that.
Yeah.
Bunch of bench 8s.
Yeah, I mean, us and IBW, at least a lot of us, I shouldn't say all of us, a lot of us just got off Nats and don't have any meets coming up. There are some of us that do have meets like pretty close, so they're not necessarily doing all of the volume. But Tom, our coach, is really throwing us just to the wolves because none of us have plans for competition. So I was like, great, back to work, and we do all the volume. So what was it, 7 sets of 8 today?
I think so, yeah.
7 climbing sets of 8 on bench, which is just brutal. 56 reps of just bench.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we could go right into that, seeing as how you mentioned it. We could go on a little Nats recap.
Oh, yeah, shoot, yeah.
So that was what, 2 weeks ago?
2.5 weeks ago. My particular session was Friday the 13th, so what is that? 17, yeah, 2.5 weeks ago, almost exactly. Compete at 93. I'm not a full 93. Traditionally, I'm an 83, but I just got tired of cutting, especially when I traveled to PEI. I didn't want to cut weight. So I went in as like a light 93. I weighed in 88, lightest out of all 32 93s there, which is pretty cool. It's a bit of a flex because, I don't know, it's how I walk around. I didn't want to blow it up or balloon up or anything like that. Didn't want to cut down either, so I just walked in, banana in my hand, weighed in, stepped on the scale.
Walked in with abs.
With abs. Weighed in with abs, which is kind of cool. Probably not the most effective for powerlifting, but it is what it is. I didn't really have many goals going into Nats, though. You probably kept it out of your videos, but I did one Saturday hurt my back pretty good. A lot of people don't know this, but I've been lifting for a long, long time, but I did have a back injury that was pretty severe, like probably 10 years ago. I actually tore the spinal erectors on both sides of my back as well as my left QL. And although that's fixed now, it hasn't, like it's always chronically tight. It's never perfect. And one day I think I just wasn't feeling good. I did one too many reps and something like tweaked, pulled, however you want to say it. And I was in the fetal position for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think I was recording that day, but I don't even think I was recording when it happened because I think you had my tripod.
Honestly, yeah, and I probably did leave that video out of shame. But if we find it, we'll put it in. But yeah, I was in a good bit of pain there, and that was only 5 weeks out. And that really put a damper on not just my training, obviously because I had to modify a lot, but it really takes the wind out of your sails when training's going so well and you're feeling really, really strong, and then just something freak like that happens. And it's not the first time that's happened to me. It's not the last time it's going to happen to me, unfortunately, I suppose. Last time it happened was like 2 years ago, honestly. But when that happened, it's 5 weeks out, hurt like a son of a gun. I could not bend over to tie my shoes. That's how much it hurt. So I didn't really have any goals going into Nats. I honestly part of me did think about just pulling out of Nats. Then I realized I spent a lot of money on a flight, a lot of money on CPU membership, a lot of money on registration for the comp that I was not going to get any of that back.
It was just as well to go.
Just as well to go, do what I can. And like the nice thing was bench was not affected. Right?
Yeah,
like,
bench
I could bench,
great.
no problem. Deadlifts and squats obviously sucked trying to work through the pain. But we got to the point where, you know, in 5 weeks from not being able to tie my shoes, I got to a PR match on my squats with 245 kilo, which is 540 pounds. I benched a huge meet PR of 170 kg, which is 7.5 kilo meet PR, which was sick. And then I pulled 252, which is 556 pounds. And that was just to get the 2.5 kilo total PR. All right, pause, coffee order here.
Can I get a medium coffee, 2 milk, 2 sweetener? What do you want?
Same, actually. Decaf, though.
And can I get a medium decaf, 2 milk, 2 sweetener?
Yeah, too late in the day for coffee for me, actually. Caffeine.
Yeah, you got an early day.
I get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Have a nice day.
You do.
That's weird. I don't like that.
Dude, it's so convenient.
I don't like that at all.
Technology.
I'd spend way too much money on that stuff. Well, you see me with my tripod.
Wooden board.
2x4s nailed together with a water bottle
Or
on top.
Velcro together, depending on what ones you use.
Where was I? But yeah, so 2.5 kilo meet PR. After 5 weeks after not being able to tie my shoes, I was in so much pain. That being said, every single squat I walked out, including my warm-ups, and every single deadlift, including my warm-ups, I was just waiting for my back to go. And it never did. So, thank you for the coffee.
Absolutely. But yeah,
Cheers.
cheers. You came out of it what? 7 for 8? 6 for 8?
7 for 9, or well, I scratched my last deadlift, so technically 7 for 8. Sweet and light brown, just like me. That's how I like my coffee. Sweet and light brown. Or you can say golden brown delicious, and I would say the same thing, just like me.
Yeah. Lots of ways you can make that one work.
But yeah, I mean, I was expecting to do a lot worse. I was expecting to actually, hit my opening squat, scratch the other two, hit an opening deadlift, scratch the other two, just to get a total. But I was really, really fortunate to be able to push a little bit. And honestly, I felt strong. Like, strength didn't go anywhere, which was the nice part. But the wind was out of my sail. The confidence was hard.
Was hit.
The confidence, because you just don't know what's going to happen. The last thing you want to do is, like, I compete on Friday. I flew in the Thursday. I had to fly out the Saturday morning. So, like, I got a flight to catch me on the plane. I worked the Sunday. Like, I got to go to, I can't afford to get injured. I got to go to work.
You still had work Sunday?
I worked on Sunday.
Jesus.
So I flew in Thursday evening. Buddy picked me up from the airport, stayed with him all night. Drove myself to Summerside from New Dominion. It was like 50 minutes at like 5 in the morning. Weighed in, lifted, drove back, and then I had to fly out the next morning and then work Sunday. Right? A quick turnaround, so I could not afford to get hurt again. Which is why I was thinking I was really going to sandbag. But again, I was really fortunate to not have to do that. Plus, I was really fortunate to have Tom there in the back room and Dryden, one of our training partners, handling me. Now they also had Chris Fudge there in the other flight, so they were handling, like, both of them were handling both of us, which was really cool. But they were both keeping an eye on me, and they were definitely, I don't want to say stroking the ego, but telling me, like, hey man, you're good. Don't worry, like, you're good. It's there. You're gonna be fine. Just one rep at a time. It really helped to have them just like talk you down. Maybe I'm just an anxious person, but man, hurting my back like that, I don't wish that on anyone. Especially like full-blown tears, like, that sucks. That really, really sucks.
Yeah. But it all worked out, and I mean, bench flew that day.
Yeah, I remember, it's funny actually, I was really excited for bench leading up to the meet, because that was the only thing that was clicking.
Yeah.
Right? It was the only thing that was actually going well. And then I remember TK maybe like a week and a half out, like last, like openers, like we were taking openers 10 days out or something like that. And he says something like, Kev, you might surprise yourself. The one lift that's going really well is usually the one that turns the shit in the meet, right? And I was like, why would you say that?
Don't tell me that.
And then I remember like getting through my squats at Nats, and I was like, man, okay, cool. Like, let's have some fun with bench. And I started warming up, and Chris Hanrahan comes over, another coach from around town. And he looks at me, he's like, dude, you're going to bench a house today. You're going to like crush it. And I remember it was just after my second to last warm up.
Oh, shit.
That's fine. Lenny, I'm supposed to be the Asian. But I remember it was like after my second last warm, I was 135 kg. And like it moved fine, but it wasn't like smoked. You know, it wasn't like I've moved 130, like I'm going to have a great day. It was like, okay, I'm going to hit my opener. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks, buddy. Like, thanks, Chris. I hope so, but it doesn't really feel like good right now. It feels okay. And then 142, same thing. Like my last one was 142. Planned opener was 150 because I could always bump it up if I was moving really well. But it wasn't. It was like, man, it's not great, you know? So hit 142 and was like, yeah, let's just keep the opener at 150. If it moves, then I'll just take bigger jumps, right? It's fine. I also needed to get a feel for commands because I was in the B flight and A flight was equipped. So all equipped benchers go first, and it's hard to tell with commands when guys have bench shirts on and stuff. So I had no idea how the pauses were going to be, how long the wait for the start command was going to be, et cetera, et cetera. So I played it safe, like 150 was something I could take like any day of the week, right? And I don't think I've ever moved 150 that fast. Like I don't know what it was. 142 kind of moved like okay, and 150 was the best 150 I have ever hit ever, and it was like not even close.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I opened 150 at like RPE 6 maybe. Like that should have been my last warm up. So I don't know what it was, but I stood up and I was like, oh my god. And I remember TK looking at me. He's like, you want to go 162 like right now, like PR match, like right now? I'm like, man, like 12 kilo jump's a bit aggressive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just go 10, man, like go 160. Because again, like I don't know, like it could happen again, you know what I mean? Like I can go and it could feel like 142 did, you know? And it didn't. It's like 160 flew again. And I remember going back and just checking my phone real quick, and because we had a couple people watching back home, and Will and Steve Yolo, like our other training partners that weren't in PEI, like immediately were like, load 170, let's go. So of course we load 170, and of course it goes. Shouldn't have, but it goes. And it was a huge PR. Like it was sick. I did not, the way warm-ups were moving, I did not think it was gonna go that well.
It's funny, I had the exact same thing my last meet too. It was all of my warm-ups moved like shit.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the whole like warm-up rack versus comp rack. Because I remember it's funny, there's 4 racks for each platform at Nats, right? And there's 10 in my flight, so you could go 4 racks of 2 racks of 2 and a couple racks of 3, right? And everyone would have had like good rotation on the racks. But everyone wanted to get on the Hansu rack to warm up. And I took the shitty, janky one that was like kind of off kilter and a little shaky.
Still probably better than the stronger.
Right, yeah, it was. But I took that one because like there was no one else on it. Like I could time my warm-ups however I wanted. You know, I could load whatever I wanted. I wasn't at the mercy of anyone else. And it was just me, TK, Dryden, and Chris on that rack. And like Chris would, like I would be waiting while Chris is warming up for his lifts. And then, like, while he was waiting, like, I would be warming up for mine. And it was, like, perfect. And I just had TK and Dryden. Like, it was sick. So I don't know why anyone did that, but it was a janky rack. And then when I got under the Hansu, it was like, my God, like, what is this? Like, I was benching, I don't know what it was, but, like, shoulders felt set, you know, like, dug into the pad. Buddy with the handoffs, like, I don't know who he was. I think he was from PEI. I think he lifted earlier in the week. He said he was skipping school to like volunteer, which kudos to him.
Cool, man.
Because he had some of the best bench handoffs like I've ever had. Like I know in the room, like IBW room, the boys get like really good handoffs. This guy was like, could have been on a Wednesday class with us. It was sick.
Peach is the other one I've heard is really good.
Oh yeah, I've had Peach hand off me for me at props. Money, absolute money.
I heard Peaches are great.
Yeah, he's really good. But yeah, like for some reason, like everything just panned out on those 3 attempts. Deadlifts though, man, my back was like fried by the time I got to deadlifts. I was supposed to open 240, dropped it to 235 just to make sure I can get it, and then dropped to 17 up to 252 for the total PR. And that was like not my nicest 252 ever. It was just brute force, and like I couldn't get my hips low enough. My back didn't want to move. That lift probably took months off my life. But we got the total PR.
Got it.
Scratched my 3rd. Shook hands with guys in the back. Drove home. That was it. But honestly, like, first Nats, to go in injured and kind of definitely lacking confidence, I would say. It was a good turnout.
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier. And like,
are they getting enough business to open a second one?
apparently they are.
What the fuck?
Planet Fitness Torbay Road, opening
Wow.
soon. But yeah, I mean, I was super happy, and like another part of it was I was super grateful that there were so many people there, and not just there in PEI, but people watching back in Newfoundland. People like my family was watching in Ottawa. My friends were watching. I had a buddy. Shout out to Riley, best man at my wedding. He's like a low voltage tech for a company in Ottawa. He was doing all of the some of the stuff at like the city hall in Ottawa, and he had the countdown to the stream going on like 8 TVs and 2 projectors in the city hall in Ottawa.
Jesus
it's
Christ.
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. But like to have that much support was like really overwhelming. And because like let's be real, man, powerlifting is a pretty boring sport to watch.
Yeah.
Unless you have someone in there, it's like watching grass die. Like,
And I mean, especially like with what move best for you, especially when it comes to bench, a lot of people are just like,
it's like watching chess or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu without knowing the moves of either of them. It's just not really entertaining. But like to have people like take time out of their day, just have the stream running in the background or whatever it is, and just flick to it when I'm on. It's like, man, really grateful because like those people don't need to do that. Just to have that support near, far, strangers, other coaches, other athletes, direct competition, people in my flights, you know what I mean? It's just super cool. It's like a really cool community, really, really nice to be a part of that. And it just like reinforces like why you do it. It's not just about, hitting a total, like, yeah, the numbers are there, but like there's a community, like the overall community just wants to watch people get better, right?
Yeah.
And they want to watch cool people do cool things. And it's really cool to watch. It's really cool to be a part of.
yeah, that's always fun. With that being said, though, what's next?
Well, what's next? You want to talk like powerlifting specifically, or you want to go a little bit broader?
You can do whatever.
All right, so what's next? I used to be a bodybuilder back when I lived in Ottawa, before I moved to PEI for culinary school. I was a bodybuilder. I did one show. And I've kind of been having the itch to like get back on like the meal plan. Like it's the one part of my game that like hasn't, like I got a coach in powerlifting. I don't miss sessions. I train hard. But I don't really watch what I eat. I'm a cook. Like I eat whatever I want. It's I got a bad habit.
You eat a bunch of random shit throughout the day.
But part of it is my job. I gotta taste what I'm cooking, right? I gotta make sure it tastes good. So I don't really know exactly what calories I'm intaking, which makes bodybuilding damn near impossible, right? Because everything needs to be focused. But next for me is I turned 30. I know 30 in December this year. So I signed on with Burry, who I think you've had on the channel before.
Yeah, I did a leg day with him.
Yeah, so Jared, nutritionist, trains out of Reps, got a bunch of clients, but mostly a lot of nutrition clients. So I signed in with him for a few months, and we're gonna recomp until probably the new year. I want to see how good in shape I can be when I turn 30. There's no real meat on the horizon. I know people are talking about Metro 2.0. It's just not really a priority of mine right now. Honestly, I need to get healthier. Like my back is still not 100%. So that needs to get done first. I got a bunch of external life stuff that needs to get dealt with first. That training's probably going to take a second fiddle to. But in the meantime, dialing in nutrition to recomp a little bit, hopefully get into really good shape for my 30th or the new year or what have you. Different goal, keep it fun, maybe throw in some bodybuilding accessories, get back into like what I used to do, how I started lifting. Because it wasn't powerlifting that I started lifting, it was actually bodybuilding. Yeah, I had the posters of Ronnie Coleman, Kai Green, Phil Heath, all that stuff.
But still gonna have some fun on Saturdays.
Oh geez, yeah, it's like the powerlifting doesn't stop, it's just like another part of the game that gets added in, you know what I mean? So you can still get stronger and, well, I mean, like maintain strength and lose a little bit of weight or recomp, It's definitely not the most efficient for strength, but priority shift, right? It's not that I'm going to not try to get stronger, it's that I'm going to try to do that while...
You're just going power building.
Basically, yeah, if you want to put a name to it. So we'll let that ride for a little while, and then once the new year hits, we'll reassess. Probably try to fill out 93. Wave goodbye to the abs for another like 5 years or something like that. But yeah, without a comp coming up, like because the way the CPU works is your first Nats, you have to compete at regionals, you have to do a bunch of volunteering and all that stuff. Once you post a total at Nats, you don't need to do any of that anymore. As long as you have the qualifying total, you can go do a subsequent nationals. Now, in 2025, they've reevaluated the qualifying totals, and for the open men, the qualifying totals shot up like anywhere between 7 to 10%.
Yeah, dude, I looked at 105s.
It's
crazy.
Staggering. Not impossible, but they definitely want the top lifters in the country. They don't want 3 flights of 93s at nationals. They want one.
Because I mean, this year was a lot.
Well,
of
32 guys was 3 flights.
Yeah.
Right, and I was in like basically C flight. So what they've done is they've raised, I think 83 open men had the largest jump high percentage point by 10%. So it was 625. It's now 687.5 come 2025. So it was 665 for 93, and I had that, which is why I was able to go to nationals this year. I posted 667.5, which is a 2.5 kilo PR, which is great. I need 710. You know, I haven't even hit that in the gym. So when I compete again, it will be to hit 710. And I want to do that. I want to smoke 710. Like, I want that comfortable. And then maybe we do a nationals after that. But until nationals rolls around on the East Coast again, man, probably not gonna bother.
Because I mean, traveling from Newfoundland is so expensive.
Well, Canadian air travel sucks in general, but yes, traveling from Newfoundland by air, God forbid by ferry.
I didn't know Dryden did that till he said the other day.
Yeah, he was sat in a car for like 10 hours and then slept on. You should listen to a story of him sleeping on the ferry. I think he
Was it on the floor under the chair?
Onto the floor, under like a bench or something like that. With
Leah's jacket.
With Leah's jacket as a pillow or some stupid thing like that. I'm like, buddy, I hope it was worth it. Like, man, that's rough. But yeah, travel from Newfoundland is not great. So if Newfoundland gets another Nats 2-3 years time, like, perfect, no problem with that. But no competition. Like, I just want to get stronger, man. And, you know, you can do that without having like specific competitions, right? You know, every week we see each other on Wednesdays in class, see each other Saturday afternoons. You know, that's where you really get stronger, is like in those workouts.
It's like us today pushing John.
Exactly. A competition is just an opportunity to showcase that. And the thing is with competitions, you get so wound up, and sometimes you don't have good days. You know what I mean? You put all this effort, all this stress, all this time into one day, and sometimes, man, you eat something bad and you get the shits.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? You just have a bad day. Like, it's just not good. So I don't put too much stock in just one day of lifting. I like to look at the trends of things. If I'm getting stronger, if I'm getting leaner, if I'm steadily progressing towards my goals. You know, it's more progress oriented than goal oriented specifically. Like, for example, the bodybuilding thing, like losing weight or recomping until the new year. I don't really have a goal weight in mind. I don't really have a goal body composition in mind. I'm just going to try to push as far as I can. Exactly. I just want to enjoy the process. I'm going to do everything right. Hey, the light's not getting any greener. Yeah, okay. Jeez.
See, the way it looks for them who couldn't see is it fully looks like I stopped, because the second you said it, I started moving.
It wasn't Lenny. It was like the missus in front of us. Like, the light went green and she must be colorblind or something. But yeah, it's not so much for me like the end points. Like, obviously 710 is going to be nice, but like, how do I get there? By getting stronger. So the goal is actually get stronger, right? Or the goal isn't to be like this lean. The goal is to just get leaner, right? So you do those little things every day that should help you progress, right?
Yeah, because it all changes for different people too. Because I mean, depending on, like, for you, because you said 83 was like a hard.
Yeah, 83 was not the nicest to get down to, and like, well, I mean, I did a couple provs at 83, and I would walk around at 85 at the time, so it wasn't too bad to get down. But I found myself like, you know how they say to beginners, like, don't tie yourself to weight class, don't be afraid to go up.
Yeah,
I was tying myself down to 83. And then I started walking around like 86, 87. Body weight naturally climbs. And not just because I was eating like an idiot. It was just like, you train hard, eat a lot of protein. Eventually, you're just going to pack on muscle. That's just kind of how it works. And, you know, yeah, you find yourself walking around 3-4 kilos above your competition weight. And you're like, damn, like, I got to drop 8 pounds. In, like, I don't know. And you know, at 83 kilos, so 183 pounds, 8 pounds is like
A fair bit of
it's
weight.
like 4.5% of your body weight. You know, that's going to have an effect on your strength, right? That's not nothing. Like dropping a kilo, man, if you take a big piss, you'll be down a kilo.
Yeah.
Right? But dropping 8 pounds was just not going to do it for me. And I got sick of it. Like, especially, so Easterns back in March was my first 93 comp, right? I weighed in like 87.8, and like I didn't cut, like I weighed in with like a Costco muffin in my hand. Like it was like, whatever. Right? But I was like way more comfortable. Right? And there was like, at the time, there's a lot of life stress going around, planning the wedding and everything like that. And I talked to TK like a month out maybe, and I was like, man, I don't really, like, what do you think about me just not cutting down to 83? Just like rolling in as a 93 and doing whatever. He's like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
Like whatever needs to happen to cut stress out, just roll in.
Yeah, because that was the
whatever.
thing, is how much life stress you had going on.
It's been a long year. It's been a good year, but a long year. And I find competition very stressful. Maybe that's something that we could touch on. I don't even like competing. Like,
really?
I don't know if I've told
Wow.
anyone that I don't even like it necessarily. I find, like, to me, it's not what it is. You know, it's not what like, powerlifting necessarily is.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's what people see and what people celebrate, and like you have this like world record total. That's great. I'm not taking away from that. That's super cool.
But that's one day of a year.
Exactly. So if you train, you know, let's say you train 4 days a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 200 workouts. One of those is a meet.
Yeah.
0.5% of your entire training of that year is a meet. Like, that's not what powerlifting is. Powerlifting is the 99.5% of you going in there and just grinding through sessions. Like, that's what it is. And you gotta love that. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, I have my bad days, I have my okay days, and I have my great days. But I still go, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy, you know, being in the trenches with the guys. Like, that's a lot of fun for me. And competition days, like, it's stressful. Like, everyone's, I don't know, it feels like everyone's walking on eggshells and like, oh my gosh, like, I hope I'm strong enough. And you put so much pressure on yourself. That's the thing too, it's never external pressure. At least at my level, I'm not an international level athlete. It's not like I'm trying to, you know, compete for a world spot or anything like that. I'm just trying to like show everyone what I can do. And, you know, it's really stressful when you put that on yourself because, you know, especially at Nats, for example, like if I put too much stock in that, it's like, man, I only did like 667. I only hit 2.5 kilo PR. I know I'm more capable than that, but I was hurt. Like, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
Right? If you put too much stock in that, man, you're going to beat yourself up, you know, more than you already are.
And maybe my mentality on it's different. Maybe it's just because I'm fresh.
Yeah, I mean,
And like maybe it's just because I'm like itching for more right now.
yeah, and like that too. Like, and like, for example, like food competitions. Like, to me, that's not what food is. Like, food is like sitting around a table with like 5 or 6 of your best friends or your family members or whatever it is, and you all sharing a bunch of food. Like, that's what cooking is. That's what food is. Like, the 300 of the same little taster plates going out in like a timely, organized fashion, and like, that's not really what like. Sure, there's like restaurants that do that, but like, to me, cooking is more of a social thing, and competition doesn't accurately reflect that. And competition, maybe that's a good way of saying it. Like, your competition, you can have such a bad day that it's not an accurate reflection of the work that you've put in.
Yeah.
You know, and like the work is actually what matters.
Yeah.
The work is what's like. Why are we doing it? You know, we're not doing it to have like a world record total. Like, at least I'm not. I know some people are at that level. I'm doing it because I want to be healthier and stronger and be a better me today than I was yesterday. That's it, right? If you put too much stock in that one day, you forget that that wasn't the point.
Yeah.
You know, that's not my point. That's why I don't like competing. It's not an accurate reflection of my goal.
I think that's something I really liked, especially filming the 2 prep series I did, was showing just the so much more, just all of what goes into it.
Oh yeah.
Leading up to a meet.
Yeah, it's not just like your 9 lifts are great, but it's not just your 9 lifts.
It's the lifts you miss in the gym. It's the sets you're almost passing out doing. It's,
when you're taking your openers 2 weeks out and they don't feel like they're openers, they feel like they're thirds, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Why am I not strong? You know, it's the mental battle, all of that. And you get in your head pretty quick, you know, about And like, that goes back to what I was saying. Like, you put this one date and this one goal in your mind, and if you put so much stock in it, if you don't hit it, you're gonna just feel crushed. But like, that's not what it is, you know. At least not for me. It's just another day, man. I was back to training the Monday.
And I think that's something mentally too, with powerlifting as compared to bodybuilding, is like, bodybuilders, yeah, you'll have a bad session and it'll stick with you, but like, you still have your results, you still have all what you've developed. But when it comes to like powerlifting, you miss your squat, that's it. That's what you have to show is your squat.
That one lift on that one meet on open powerlifting that shows that you did this, right? But you can turn around and say like, man, I've done so much more than that. You just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
You know? So that, and then that's why, again, like, it's just such a small snapshot of it. I don't think it's worth putting so much focus and energy into. Obviously, if I'm there, I'm going to do my best, period. And what I have on the day is what I have on the day. But I don't attach value to the result of that, you know what I mean? It's not going to make or break me. You know, I just, again, like, I did my thing at Nats, and I went back to training on Monday. You know, I competed on Friday, went back to training on Monday.
So going off of that, are you somebody who tends to keep secrets leading up to a meet?
No. Like, if you guys follow my social media, everything's open. Like, whatever. It is what it is. Like, you guys can see, like...
Long enough for you to get home.
Yeah, like, seriously, man, like... If you follow my Instagram or like Facebook, which I'm never on, but like my Instagram is basically a collection of cool things that things that I think are cool when I see them, you know, whether it be a lift or whether it be something cool I did at work or something cool I saw out walking, or my cat or my wife, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's what it is, you know. I don't keep secrets.
Yeah, I think some people put way too much stock into like keeping stuff under wraps.
Because, well, here's the thing. I think people keep it under wraps, and some people at the very high level, you talk like Lucas and Bryce and Rich and like all those guys vying for like the 120 world spot. Yeah, absolutely keep your shit on wraps, because like you don't want to know where, because it becomes the chess game at the meet day, right? They're competing for something not what I'm competing for.
Yeah, it's throwing on fake thirds, throwing out ridiculous numbers.
Exactly. Why would I do that? Like, you know, I'm in C flight.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? You know, wow, Kevin's bench 165 in the gym. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do it on the platform, man. Like, it is like, whatever. Like, I have what I have, and you have what you have, and that's that. Like, I can't control.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the other thing too, is like, I know I'm not pushing for that, so it doesn't bother me. And that's not why I post it or put it on my story or whatever it is. I'm not trying to hide it. I'm just like, hey, this is a cool thing I did. That's that. You can like not watch it if you want, or you can like it if you want, or you can just skip through it if you want. Like, I don't care. It's up there. You know, I don't keep secrets because like, there's no point. Like,
no,
it's just whatever. It's all there. Especially like for what, you know, it's just, dude, I totaled 667. It's like, whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's like, I'm not breaking any records. It's not like I'm sneakily, you know, gonna take like someone's, you know, bench gold or some shit like that. It's just not gonna happen, right? It's just stuff that I think is cool. It's all open. It's all public.
And I think that's also the joy too of being like at a point in powerlifting where you're like not near any records, and it's just kind of that like, I've seen people say previously, it almost feels like there's nothing to like push yourself for, but there isn't that external pressure then either of like.
Yeah, and so again, we go back to the internal versus external pressure thing. External pressure works for a bit, but man, you got to have that internal drive to like tell you to do those hard workouts or tell you to do X, Y, and Z. Because again, like, I'm not going to break any records, you know, probably not. I might in the future, but there's nothing on the horizon right now.
Yeah.
So why do I keep going in and doing these sessions? Why would I go in and torture myself doing bench 8s today or tempo squats today? Like, why would I go in and torture myself? It's because that record is not the goal. The goal is to be better than yesterday. And if I can continue to do that day by day, then maybe eventually I'll encroach on those records.
Yeah.
Right? But they themselves are not the goal. Like, the goal is to just get better.
Be the strongest you.
Exactly. Which is why I don't hide it, because I don't keep anything under wraps underneath, because I'm not competing with you guys. I'm competing with me, right? I want to be better than I was last time. I don't really care if you chip my third bench. Like, I just don't care. All I care about is this something that I can do, A, and B, is it better than what I did before? That's it. You know, it's really simple. Which honestly helps me get through, because I find competing very stressful. It helps me get through the stress of it. It's just like, hey, you know, what do you have, and is it better than what it was before? Like, don't have this particular number in your mind. Just be like, is it what you got today? Is it your best today? That's it.
Yeah, and that really relates to, I don't know if it's necessarily your internal philosophy, but when it comes to how you preach lifting, it's very much.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I preach lifting. And that is pretty much my internal philosophy, is like, just better the day before. It's what you got. Because, like, you're not always going to have 100%, man. You know, if you're, like, when I hurt my back, you know, my 100% was, like, the first week back, I could not lift. You know, I had to go in and do something. I had to work through. I could not immobilize myself because it would just lock up. I had to go in and do something. And my 100% that day, the first day back, was a single at 225 squat. Like 225 pounds, not kilos, 225 pounds. Like, barely hitting depth, shaky, in pain, just work through, get that muscle to loosen up a little bit. I did a bunch of sets at 135 and then a single at 225, and then I just rolled out my back. And that was my 100% that day. And you know what? The next day I came in was, okay, can I go a little bit more than 225 for one? And, like, that has to be your philosophy, because I can't go in there and do the prescribed number that was like, oh yeah, you know, 10 kilos below opener for a triple. You know, I can't do that. You know, it wasn't there that day. You have to accept it and say, what's your best that day? And just better might look a little different, you know? Yeah, you can't put too much, it's not linear, the progress, and it's you against you, especially when you get hurt like that. It's you against you.
All right, I got some speed round questions for you now.
All right, surprise me, let's go.
So just quick answers. Morning or nighttime?
For what?
Lifting.
Morning. Mid-morning, 10 o'clock.
Morning or nighttime just as a person?
Morning. I got up at 4:30.
Yeah, fair enough. Good point. Yeah, I know the answer to most of these, but, you know. Solo or group lifting?
Depends. I like both. Group for sure has its perks, but sometimes, man, hoodie up or toucan, loud music, solo session. That's pretty cool too.
Pre-workout?
Nothing. Like, I have my coffees in the morning, that's it.
And a couple rice cakes.
A couple rice cakes, as Burry says, tough rice cakes before workout, but that's it.
Go-to cheat meal?
Ooh, man, see, now this is a tough one because I am a cook by nature. Like pizza, sushi, like anything I'm feeling. Like, I'll eat anything, right? So it's whatever I kind of want at the time. You know, I'll do anything. So, hell, even I'll go to Costco and get like half rotisserie chicken for all I care, you know?
Just whatever it takes to get the calories in.
Mm-hmm.
What's the weirdest thing you've had to make for work?
Weirdest thing I had to make for work? Oof. That's a good question, actually.
And was it scallops for me at 10 o'clock in the morning?
It was not scallops for me at 10 o'clock in the morning. There's this thing that we get every spring, and, like, I don't know why we do it. Like, stinging nettles, it's a fucking weed, okay? And everyone's like, oh, it's seasonal, you should use it. They're like, okay, great, everyone makes it into a pasta filling. But they're stinging nettles. They sting you, and you get, like, it's like poison ivy. You get a rash, and it's, like, itchy and painful. And you have to, like, boil them for, like, half an hour, and then you gotta blitz them up and, like, squish them dry, and then you put them in a pasta filling, and guess what? It tastes just like spinach. So
that does not sound worth the work at all.
Exactly. It's like every year you get stinging nettles in it. Every year, you know, you poke yourself on the hand, and every year it swells up for a day, and every year you promise yourself next year you won't do it. Yeah, I just don't like working with stinging nettles. It's not necessarily weird, I just hate doing it. But, yeah, weird. I mean, I don't find it weird, but, like, half pig head, that's pretty fun. Roasting off a half pig head, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, to clarify, Kev's not like a McDonald's chef. Like,
yeah, I worked at a few spots around town. Yeah.
We're talking, like, fairly fancy.
I went to PEI for culinary school. I paid a lot of money to go to school. So, not saying I learned anything.
I got a sweater.
I paid a lot of money to go to school. Probably didn't learn as much as I could have, but like...
It's like everything, you learn more on the job.
Yeah. But
I'm going to steal this one. I don't know if I'm stealing it from Red Plates or stealing it from Lucas, because technically Lucas introduced it on Red Plates. But fuck, marry, kill, squat, bench, deadlift.
Right now... kill deadlift just because of my back. Fuck squat. Marry bench. Bench is just flying. Benches are so good.
Today's bench was... I'll throw clips in. Today's bench was pretty quick.
Even after Nats, like, you think the peak is just like, you're going to come down the other side of the peak. Still feeling pretty good, man. Weights are still moving pretty good. Obviously, we're ramping back into the volume and stuff like that, so it is going to be a bit of a grind, but still feeling really good. Squats are like, good enough, like, you could fuck with it for a session, you know what I mean? Like, it's not bad, like, they're feeling pretty good, but not as good as bench is. And deadlifts, like until I get my back fixed, you just get rid of them.
And I mean, bench has been feeling good, and that's even with what we've been thrown in the past couple weeks for bench.
Oh yeah, and like
we've been getting thrown some crazy stuff.
We don't taper too much on the bench leading into a meet. Like I benched like Tuesday, maybe like Monday, Tuesday. I benched before I competed on Friday, and it wasn't like such like nothing. I benched like, I think I took like 142 for like a double. Yeah, and like you just ride it out. It wasn't like a gimme session, just grease the grooves. It was like, yeah, man, put some weight on your arms and like do it. Obviously, the volume came. Yeah, I know. I don't know what the was doing, but obviously, like you bring the volume down and you taper intensity a bit higher. But yeah, we didn't like. You don't take too much time off on bench for the meet. Like it just doesn't take too much out of you nervous system wise. Unless you're like equipped and you're benching like 700 pounds. But, like you have a heavy bench session where you go 50, 60, 70, or 150, 150, 160, 170. It's not going to take as much out of you as like a 240 squat will.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're already laid down.
Exactly. Like so you just go right back. You can go right back into bench training and like you're still riding that strong wave, which is exactly what's happening now. Obviously that's going to change in a few months, I'm sure. But right now, bench is on Mary bench, staying with her forever. Fuck some squats, and I'll kill deadlifts. Just switching to sumo even now, just trying to get some work in where my back isn't screaming at me.
Yeah, it's real confusing for like deadlift right now with the Saturday crew. Everyone is all over the place with what they're doing.
That's actually funny, yeah, because John is
messing around with conventional. I made the switch to sumo.
Yeah. And it's funny now, Lucas is doing a couple blocks conventional too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's trying to punch in a few blocks conventional just to build up the, I don't know, I guess like the longer range on his back and like really just driving off the floor a little bit more power, a little bit more stacked power, I guess. I don't know. He's giving it a shot, seeing what's on the go. So everyone's kind of
all over the place with deadlifts.
Well, with again nothing in sight, competition wise. Just see what feels good right now, because if something is not feeling good, like conventional is not feeling good, right? It's just hurting my back every single time I do it. Is there something else I can do to get some deadlift work in that's not going to make my back scream at me? Sumo? Yeah, let's give it a shot. Not saying it's going to be for like forever, but a couple blocks here just to get some weight in my hands and ease off my lower back. Yeah, I'll take it.
Because I think even like just as a whole for the team, I think the only person going to Bay St. George is Tom right now?
Tom, yeah. I mean, that's because like a lot of us have already competed at Nats. Yolo's going to Equip Worlds. Steph is going to Commonwealths. Right, so there's some meets coming up, but like the bulk of us don't really have anything on the horizon. Mostly because the bulk of us compete at Nats.
Exactly. Like it's pretty much holding out till Easterns probably again.
Yeah, and it was a quick turnaround, right? Like you look at us like a lot. I think like our whole Wednesday night rack competed, went to Easterns in March in one session one day. Like we were all there competing on the same, like all 6 of us were in the same warm-up room on the same rack. Like 3 of us were going while the other 3 were lifting, you know? And so like that went right into Lucas's Worlds in June, and that goes right into Nats in September. Like like we've been going pretty hard for the last 6 months. We could use a little bit of
break.
Not of a break, but just like an evaluation of seeing, okay, so what tweaks can I make that's going to make me feel a little better? Do I need to lay off on anything that like aches and pains that just haven't gone away? At the same time, we're going to try to keep pushing YOLO because YOLO's got to quit Worlds coming up.
And then after that, it's everybody just get healthy for Boxing Day.
Yeah, Boxing Day blowout, yeah.
I'm excited for that. I'm actually really excited for that one.
You've never done one before with us, eh?
No.
Yeah, that's fun. That's not even like a meet. Like, you can treat it like a meet if you wanted to, but it's more like come in and just do some
lift
fun
heavy.
Stuff. Yeah, lift, like, do some fun stuff. Like, if you want to hit a pause double PR on bench, like, that's the day to do that, right? Or if you just want to load, like, that would be the day to, like, load the slingshot and, like, just fucking bench till the cows come home or something, right? So yeah, Boxing Day blowout, I guess, is the next heavy day coming up. But even then, like, it's fun. Like, you don't put so much stress on it. It's just fun. But yeah, man. What about you? What's next for you?
So next for me, Lucas asked me this the other day, and I thought it was kind of funny because I'm like, well, what's next for me is kind of sort of in your hands. Because like the next thing kind of on the horizon for me that I'm looking at is probably Metro 2.
Right.
Metro 2 happens, which everything sounds like a Metro 2 is going to happen.
Yeah, I think the boys are just like they were all the organizers are at Nats, right?
Exactly.
So they just need some time to organize some stuff.
Yeah, because I mean it was Chris, Lucas, Genge.
I mean, sure. Jeff Butt's like CPU president. He was like at Nats, right? So
yeah,
like, they're probably going to be at Club U again, right? So
yeah.
Metro, when is that? January, February?
Roughly, I think last one was end of January. So there's that. And then after that, maybe Provs. The reason I'm saying maybe Provs is because I'm going to be in Mexico like probably 5-ish weeks before Provs, because Provs is usually like first or second weekend of June.
Right.
And Liv graduates in April. So in May, we're probably going to Mexico.
Yeah.
So
hey, I blew my back out 5 weeks out. So,
yeah,
like,
exactly. That's why I'm not,
excuse.
I'm not ruling it out.
No excuse.
I'm not ruling it out, and I'm sure if I said that to TK, he'd look at me and say the exact same thing.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
And I mean, yeah. And then, like you said, just get stronger.
Yeah,
just push
right
shit.
Right on.
Next goal numbers in mind for me, I'd like a 200 on my squat, absolutely. I don't really know what I want for bench. I'm just kind of letting bench do its thing. And I would love, exactly how bad I want 227.
227. We'll load that box today. That's no problem.
Yeah.
But that'd be a fun one.
227's gonna be fun. That's a big one. But yeah,
it's a huge milestone, man. First 500 lift, man. Damn.
Other than that, just ride the wave and see how the new training goes. Because, I'm still in the early days of adapting to IBW's training.
I don't think I've asked you. How are you finding it?
Great.
Like like benching 3 times a week, deadlifting twice, squatting twice.
Once I made the switch last week to change my split up, because the double up on squats was doing numbers on my fucking knee.
Yeah, it'll kill you.
Just because mentally I didn't want to isolate a day, but that's what it ended up having to be.
I mean, I do the same thing though.
Like my Saturdays are isolated, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, but I split my
day
2 up. Like same thing. Like I think you split your day 4 up.
Day 4, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me. Like it's just like
TK
lets you do. Like TK lets you do it because like he'll give you the numbers, man. But he understands that you got a life. You got work. You got your own stuff on the go. Like you move it around how you have to, right? For me, like I can't bench Wednesday night. Like I'm off from work Wednesday, Thursday, so I'll go to Wednesday class. And then I like training in the morning. So I'm going to bench Wednesday night and bench Thursday morning after squatting. Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
No.
Right? Where Thursday is a tertiary squat day, I can go in, do some light squats after pulling the night before. That's not going to bother me. But going hard on bench Wednesday and then doing a secondary bench day 12 hours after is going to destroy my shoulders and elbows. So I push that till Friday. Right? So I bench 3 times. I just do it the Monday, the Wednesday, the Friday. It works.
Yeah, it's all funny because when I met Kev, 2 years ago, because I was in college, so he was really kind of like, I think ever since then there's been that little want for you to get me in the room.
A little bit, man. Like, well, I'm not like advertising for everyone, but like, it's like you're there, you're watching us train together and do our programming, and you seem to be enjoying it, and you like the energy, and you're like, okay, the logical progression is for you to come into the room, right? Like, it's not like...
And I think there was that little excitement when I told you finally won.
Well, yeah, obviously. That's one of us now. But also, it's welcome to the family, I guess. Like, it's like adopting a son or something. Like, TK just found like another abandoned child at the side of the gym. You had to like bring him into the fold.
Just another abandoned 105 on the side of the road.
Yeah, but it's good to have you in there because like it's everyone in that room works hard.
Yeah.
Right? And to have another guy come in who works hard, who wants to get better, it's gonna make us better too. Right? You're gonna get better from it, and we're gonna get better from it.
Exactly, because it's everybody pushing everybody.
It's a rising tide lifts all ships.
It's an okay, you pushed your PR today, well, shit.
Yeah, if I'm watching you train hard, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. I'm watching you train hard. I can't slack off, right?
Yeah,
like that's an insult to you.
It's okay, you're going up in numbers. Well, shit.
I gotta do the same thing, right? Like I gotta push hard too. And the same thing with like chipping a little bit. It's like, ooh, you're going up against Trav. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to outdo each other. You're gonna get stronger together, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like people who work hard coming into the room, it's just rising tide lifts all ships. That's the optimist way of looking at it. You could think of it as like the crabs in the bucket trying to pull each other down, but like that's not where we are. We're just trying to like get better. So I
mean, especially here in Newfoundland, powerlifting's like not huge, so we need to like push each other to make it what it is.
Small town.
Small town.
But like everyone, but
you realize where I grew up?
Yeah, I know. I grew up in a city twice the population of Newfoundland.
And I grew up in a town of 2,000 people.
I know. But the powerlifting community is small. It is like, we have some heavy hitters, don't get me wrong. Like lots of international level athletes. But numbers wise, like provincials, man, is not huge.
No. It's especially now with how hard some people are going. Like it's almost like provincials isn't really, because I mean powerlifting is expensive. So to a lot of people now, provincials just isn't worth the money of going to provincials.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is like it's just accessibility to the sport. That's another thing why I don't necessarily like the competition part.
Because of the money.
It's the money, but also, you ask people like my wife, for example, or like anyone else who wants to get into the sport is like, well, I'm not strong enough, right? Because they're watching everyone do the competitions and they lift the heavy weights. Like, if that's what they see, it's like, nah, that's not really what it is, though. What it is just like in the gym, working on your movements. Like, I really think that everyone should be able to squat to depth physically, just for their own health. Mm-hmm. Everyone should be able to pick something up from the floor with their body in sync, and everyone should be able to have a strong pressing movement. And I'm not that bench press is just what we grade ourselves on, but that's how you catch yourself when you fall. It's like your upper body stops you, right?
Yeah.
Like you need that, like just for health purposes, a deep squat is really good for your hips and your back and your knees. You should be able to pick something up off the floor properly,
without snapping
with your body in
off.
sync. I'm not saying with a flat back. What I'm saying is your body in sync, and you should be able to have like a decent bit of upper body strength to like stop yourself when you fall and protect yourself like from hitting things or like running into things, like that kind of stuff. So like when people talk about, well, I'm not strong enough to compete, it's like, no, screw the competition. You don't need to compete. Do you need to compete to be a powerlifter?
No.
Right. You just train the 3 power lifts, in my opinion. Right. So I think you don't need to compete. Like, just get into the sport, right?
And if you decide you want to compete,
then great, right? But I think putting too much stock in the competition part of it is like kind of a barrier to entry, right? You're like, oh, I'm not strong enough to compete, so I'm not going to bother, right? It's like, that's the wrong answer, though.
And it's like some people restrict their self when it comes to like equipment. They're like, well, I don't want to spend the money on the equipment. I'm like, if you don't plan on competing, there's nothing wrong with buying a $50 pair of knee sleeves
or nothing
off Amazon or nothing.
Or like you don't need a belt and wrist straps and knee sleeves and squat shoes. So you need a pair of good like flat shoes, obviously, because you don't want to be on running shoes when you're squatting. Running shoes are for running. But you need a barbell and some plates and a bench and a rack.
That's all you need.
That's all you need, man. And like just get into it. Like it doesn't really, and like who cares if you're moving the bar only? No one cares. I just want to see you get stronger.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Exactly. No one cares.
My very first bench PR that I ever recorded was 65 pounds.
Nice.
And I was proud as shit of that.
Absolutely.
I remember getting my first plate and rushing into, because in Marystown, there wasn't a huge like lifting community in general of like heavy lifters. It's where like the biggest lifter to come through Marystown was Chris.
Yeah. And that was like way back before Chris was like where he is now.
Exactly.
Right?
So like it was like I remember one of the guys that lifted at the gym, he worked at the Subway at the time, and I remember getting my first plate and I was like, dude, I'm gonna celebrate on the way home and I'm gonna get Subway. And he was working. I ran in with the phone. I was like, dude, look at this. And like I showed it off, and I mean, it's the same as everybody. It was like, yeah, he's done like 3 plates before, but he was all like, holy shit, dude.
You're just excited about other people getting stronger, right? And like the energy, you feed off that energy of, man, I hit this goal that I wanted for so long, or I'm getting stronger. Like I'm so proud, I'm so happy. It's like, man, like good for you, you know, like just good for you for getting in there and doing it. So yeah, you don't need the competition. You don't need to hit certain numbers to start. Like just do it, you know.
It's that. Like, people saying I'm not strong enough, that's, like, or I don't have the numbers, that's exactly what local meets are for.
Or...
like, we have our local meets, so you don't have to worry about, if you did want to compete, you don't have to worry about numbers. Just go in and...
Or that's what Saturdays are for.
Or Saturdays. Saturdays.
When we go in and we just train. Just get stronger. You know, it's not about how much, like, it's not about, like, breaking the world record or setting a total or, you know what I mean? Like, none of that. It's not about weighing in properly or...
And I mean, depending on the Saturday, we'd rather you not lift heavy because, like, there's not a full fucking lot of plates.
Yeah.
We're starting to really run into that issue on Saturdays.
Yeah, the great plates are starting to... We got to time it better. Everyone's got to show up at the same time, and we really got to share bars. Otherwise, we're going to run out of plates. But, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, like, should train the power lifts. They shouldn't necessarily compete. They shouldn't put too much stock in the weight on the bar. But those lifts, like a sport has been made around them for a reason, right? Is because they're fundamental movements, right? And like until the toilet, everyone was squatting. You know what I mean? Yeah, that squat's like a natural thing. How many times do you pick stuff off the floor? It's a deadlift, man. And every time you're lying down when you push yourself up, like that's kind of like that's a pressing movement, right? You are extending your arm. You're pushing yourself up some way.
Like people think about it as just like push-ups, but I mean, hell, if you're somebody who sleeps on your stomach,
it's the same thing.
That's how you get up in the morning.
That's how you get up, right? And it's just like those are movements that are good. They're doing them well is a good indication that your body is moving properly, right? If you can do those movements well under load, even better, right? But you don't need to do them under load.
Just being able to make the movement itself.
Yeah. So I don't think. There's no minimum requirement for strength. There's no need to compete. You don't need to buy a membership to a federation or whatever it is. You don't need the fancy equipment. But I do think that if you guys are going to and I think everyone should exercise. It's very important for your health. Fun fact, I have a degree in health.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys knew that. I am a chef by trade. I went to culinary school, but I do have a university degree in health sciences from the University of Ottawa. So I really... Like, the reason why I still train is because, A, I love it, but B, so I understand the importance of being healthy, right?
It's ingrained in your habits.
It's ingrained in my habits now. Like, I want to be able to play with my kids when I'm in my 40s, right? That involves me being physically active now.
Yeah.
Right? Not necessarily, like, do I need to be squatting 500 pounds in my 40s? No. But the habit has been built now of, like, exercise.
We all want to be in Greg's shape when we're Greg's age.
Jesus. Greg's what, still M1?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, see, you know what I mean? Like, you want to be, but that's why you train, that you want to be healthy longer, right? So that's why you have those habits of exercise. And just because you might not lift heavy for the rest of your life doesn't mean that you won't have that habit of exercise still. I don't know where we're going with this, but the green health thing is very important. I think people should be doing these movements. I think that's very important. I think that everyone should exercise, and I think that the power lifts are something that not necessarily you should train and focus on, but like you should definitely throw in.
Try it.
Yeah, you should definitely be like you should be trying to squat like to depth. Because if you can't do it, something like it'll tell you like, ooh, my hips are a little locked up, or ooh, my back doesn't like that, or ooh, my ankles are a little tight.
And that gives you something to look at before it becomes an issue down the line.
Exactly, right? So it is a bit of a litmus test that way. Or if you're doing a deadlift, it's like, man, I really don't want to hinge at my hips. Why can't I? right? Like you have to hinge at your hips properly.
Or me right now trying to low bar.
Yeah.
With my shoulder.
What is wrong with my shoulder? It's a litmus test. Like, why can't I low bar? Something is wrong with my shoulder. I need to get that fixed. Right? It's an indication of how your body's moving.
Probably gonna book with Kyle tomorrow too.
You probably should, yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get that fixed, the low bar's gonna blow up.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, man, like it. And when I started lifting at the gym, like I didn't start powerlifting. I just kind of started throwing shit around and.
Well, like I said, I started bodybuilding, right?
Exactly.
Like I wasn't necessarily into. Actually, that was when I first started in the gym. When I first started exercising, was when I was like 15, 16. My parents had a treadmill in the basement. I was like, started running, botched my knees on the damn thing, but I started running to lose weight. I was a chubby teenager.
Yes, I hear you on that one.
I haven't shown you pictures, eh?
No.
Maybe I'll send you one so you can throw up. I was a chubby teenager. But, I started taking those, biology and health courses in high school even. And then I started exercising and it's just stuck with me. But I didn't start doing the power lifts. I did deadlift and I did bench and I did squat, but they just weren't something that I focused on and trained. I used them as a way to get bigger muscles.
Yeah.
Right. I used them as like squat. Yeah, squat on my leg day. It wasn't like a squat session. It was a leg day where I had to squat, or a back day where I did some rack pulls.
It was a bunch of accessories, and then squatting is now where it's a bunch of squatting and like
now a couple of accessories, maybe. My legs can't take accessories. I just can't do it.
Yeah, and it was similar for me when I started. I was just going to get lose weight, and that's when I met Chris. I kind of knew Chris anyway because I graduated high school with Chris's girlfriend. So I kind of met him through that, and he was like, yeah, try powerlifting. So then that kind of, and again, it was the same thing. It was just getting thrown in, and I was figuring more and more stuff out. And I was just talking to Peach one day because again, I went to high school with Peach as well, and he was all like, yeah, have you considered fully going in on powerlifting and getting a coach? And I said, you know what? Let's give this a try. So I was with Chris for a couple months and then went to watch my first provincials, which I think was provincials in 2022.
Was I at that one? Did I compete at that one?
That was one, not Jackburn. That was the one that was in the middle of nowhere. It was out past Jackburn.
No, I probably didn't do that one then.
Yeah, it was the one before the one that ran super duper late. It was the provincials the year before.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was the one that ran super, super late.
Yeah.
That was my first props, yeah.
Because I knew you at that point.
Yeah.
But the one I went to I was still going to Good Life at the time.
Oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't have met you. That was before me then.
And I just said, screw it one day. I went to that and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I went to Good Life. And nothing against Good Life. Depends on what you're training for. It's a completely fine gym. I gained a lot from my Good Life days, but I was like, I need to go somewhere where I'm getting pushed accordingly.
Yeah, I think reps is like that too. Reps is it's not for everyone. It's not like the average Joe gym. There's a lot of athletes that go to reps, and not just powerlifters.
There's a lot of
CrossFitters, bodybuilders, high level hockey athletes, even volleyball players, all that stuff. All the university athletes in general.
Reps has a fairly competitive.
Yeah, not that we're competing with each other, but the boys are there because they want to be. They have a goal in mind. They want to get better at their sport, right? Which is a nice environment to be around when you're trying to get better.
It's a great gym. Anyone in the city,
recommend reps.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, but going back to the reason why you started lifting, most people just start with throwing some weights around. But I think powerlifting is nice because it adds a little bit of structure and organization. And not everyone needs a coach, obviously, but having a coach to just throw you the numbers. And there's plenty of free programs online that you can find.
Oh, absolutely.
And they just throw you the numbers and there's your structure. You don't need to think, just that's what I'm doing today. Perfect. And you're getting your exercise, you're getting stronger, and that's that.
Just change it up week to week and do what you gotta do.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it gets you in the gym, gets you organized, and you still take those core movements. And another reason why people should be training the power lifts is because, man, bang for buck. You get more done with a squat than you do a bicep curl. Straight up. Just more work.
And
right?
I don't think, and it goes back to the thought of losing weight. Battery's about to die, so we'll wrap up now anyway. People don't realize either the amount of calorie expenditure, amount of energy and stuff you burn with the compound movements versus just going on a treadmill for the same amount of time.
It's crazy. It's crazy because you also have to think that's fine. it's calories burned. Like, let's say you go walk on the treadmill for 20 minutes. It's calories burned in those 20 minutes, but it's not really calories burned in those 20 minutes. It's calories burned in those 20 minutes minus what you would have burned anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're doing these power movements and building muscle, like muscle's an active tissue, that's always burning, right? Like your body's always shoveling coal into that fire.
All right, so we're back at reps now, and I guess we'll call it there. Anything you want to throw in the...
Nah, man, thanks for this. This is fun. I think a lot of people look at us in the gym and like, you know, the big angry dudes lifting a lot of weight. We're just guys.
We're fucking good. Dude,
yeah, we're good.
The weekend you got injury, we weren't locked. You know what? That might be part of what led to it, but the week you got injured, we were just fucking around. Me and Greg were walking around with our shirts all rolled up. You were lifting in a crop top. Like,
yeah, but at the same time, I was smart enough at the time to realize that like something wasn't going right. And if you remember, I modified my numbers.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, hey, this isn't working. I'm going to back it off, or what, et cetera, et cetera. That injury was going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
And not saying that I wasn't locked in. Like, I was focused on my reps. Like, when like a switch flips, you know, like
the second you got to go under the bar.
Yeah, it's like in a kitchen, man. You can mess around until like the chits start coming in, then it's business. Yeah. Right? When you're under the bar, it's business. That injury was going to happen regardless. But like, yeah, lifting's fun. We're just guys, you know. We're not. I think people look at you know, the big scary dudes in the gym. They're like, oh my gosh, they're judging me or whatever it is. That's how Planet Fitness has a whole business around it. No, I think that's the lifting community, the powerlifting community as a whole, especially in Newfoundland, is not at all. We'd love to have you in the fold, like Lenny joining IBW. We'd love to have you in the fold. We only want to see people get better. If you have a question, we'd be happy to answer.
Ask for a spot.
Ask for a spot, anything, man. We're super socially awkward, so we kind of crave that you
talk to us,
interact first.
Me and Kev both work jobs where we hide away from the public.
I deliberately moved to the back of the house after spending time in front of house because I just didn't want to deal with people anymore. But yeah, we just, at least for me in particular, I get really excited about other people wanting to do better, getting stronger. I'm always happy to help. Lenny is too. Like
if you're in the city and like, I don't know how much of the viewer base is actually in the city, but if you're in the city, like, want to give shit a try, pop down to reps.
And I think that's like the lifting community, powerlifting community as a whole, like 99% of us, man. We're just happy to have you come and get stronger with us.
Yeah, especially now, like I said, provincials is going to be getting smaller with a lot of IBW at the point where provincials is not really a thing. We need more people coming into the sport.
Yeah,
trying it out.
There's no reason not to. Like we talked about barriers to entry. Man, you don't even need to compete. Just come lift. We'd love to come see you or have you come in and lift with us, see you get stronger, et cetera, et cetera. Like,
our Saturdays are fun. People come and go from Saturdays all the time. We see like new faces fairly often.
Oh yeah, it's a good time.
But that's pretty much everything. Touched a fair bit on like lifting philosophy. I think I'm gonna go in and piss before I leave, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home and start some dinner. I'm hungry.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a good thing. It was a good lift.
Yeah, man. Thanks
not that the lift was included. It was a good drive. Good lift, but you know,
yeah,
it was a good drive.
Thanks for having me. I hope I didn't talk too much. But yeah, if you like follow me on social media, like, you'll know that like what I just talked about is like pretty much how you are. Yeah, how I am. I don't hide anything. It is what it is. My philosophy is like me better every day, and I'm just trying to take people along with me.
I'll leave all Kev's socials, Kev's Instagram.
My Instagram is basically where I live, yeah.
Down below. Let me know what you guys think of this style of content. It's definitely something I want to look at doing more. Just get more attention on local talent when it comes to powerlifting, but also the sport as a whole and just multiple people's philosophies.
Anyway, man.
Yeah,
thanks so much. Good training.
Have a good one, and I will see you Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Let's do it.
Back in again.